Arthur is 70, a retired warehouse supervisor from Erie, Pennsylvania, and for 4 years, Social Security has been paying him $58 a month less than federal law requires. He filed at 62. He worked part-time for 3 more years after that. Both of those decisions were supposed to trigger an automatic recalculation of his monthly check. Neither one happened the way federal law says it must. Not once, not ever. 48 months, $2,784 he was never paid. A check that is still short today, right now, while you watch this. Here's what should bother you. Arthur checks his bank balance every week. He is careful with money. He reads his mail. He never caught this because there was nothing to catch. No red flag, no missing zero, no letter that looked wrong. Just a number that was quietly, permanently too small, sitting inside a government computer that was never built to flag its own mistake, and never will be, because flagging it costs the system money it would rather not spend. If you were born before 1957, if you claimed even a year early, if you picked up seasonal work after retiring, or if you drew a paycheck of any size after your first Social Security deposit landed, there is a real mechanical chance the same 2 recalculations are sitting undone on your record right now. Not a maybe. A provable, fixable fact. Stay through the end of this video because the section built for widows and widowers carries the largest number of anyone watching tonight. Before I give you the 2 exact phrases that force Social Security to check your record, let's knock out 4 reasons you're already telling yourself this doesn't apply to you. All 4 are wrong. Reason 1. I never went back to work after I filed. The year you filed almost never counts on the day you file it. Social Security calculates your benefit using earnings your employer hasn't finished reporting yet. The agency calls these lag earnings. Work even part of your filing year, or pick up seasonal retail work for a single holiday season, and that alone can trigger a recalculation nobody mentions. Reason 2. Social Security already checks this automatically, so I don't need to. True, on paper. In February 2024, the agency's own Inspector General found it did not happen the way the law requires for hundreds of thousands of people. Automatic isn't the same as guaranteed. Reason 3. I claimed at my full retirement age, none of this applies to me. The earnings recheck has nothing to do with when you claimed. It runs every single year you have any covered earnings on record at any age, whether you filed at 62 or 70. Reason 4. This is run for years. If it were wrong, I'd have heard by now. That's exactly backwards. The failure the Inspector General documented is silence. No letter, no notice, no missing zero. That silence is the entire mechanism of the error, and the longer it runs, the more it costs you permanently. If you are not subscribed yet, do that now and turn the bell on. Every one of these rules shifts quietly, year to year, and nobody at Social Security is assigned to call you when it does. That's the gap this channel exists to close. Subscribe, and let's get into it. The information in this video is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial, tax, legal, or investment advice. Any situations or examples discussed are for illustrative purposes. Consult a qualified professional for your specific situation. Here's the line that should make you angry, straight from the government's own auditor. In February 2024, Social Security's Office of the Inspector General published Audit A-08-2-1-5-1049, reviewing how the agency handles the retirement earnings test, the rule that temporarily withholds part of your check if you claim early and keep earning above a yearly limit. The finding: SSA did not timely pay approximately 176,000 beneficiaries about $81 million in monthly increases they had already earned back. Not denied, not disputed, simply never issued, sitting in a queue nobody was required to clear. The same audit found the agency separately miscalculated 47,000 of 294,000 earnings test overpayment notices, worth more than $148 million, using the wrong monthly earnings figures, and misjudged roughly 9,000 more beneficiaries by about $29 million by estimating earnings instead of using the real numbers already sitting in its own system. Social Security processes millions of claims a year. Not one employee is assigned to call you if your file is the one sitting in that backlog. The office cutting your check has no financial incentive to go looking for money it owes you, so it doesn't look. That isn't a conspiracy. It's just where the incentives point. None of that means your money is gone. It means nobody has checked your specific file yet, and checking is free. Two separate recalculations sit buried in your record, and almost nobody has heard either name. The first is the Automatic Earnings Reappraisal Operation, AERO for short. Federal Regulation 20 CFR 404.285 requires Social Security to recheck your benefit every year against newly reported earnings and raise your check automatically if any year beats a lower year in your top 35. AERO, in plain terms, means one strong year of work can permanently raise your check for life, with no application required. Here's the catch. AERO runs off earnings your employer or the IRS reports, usually processed the following fall, with any increase paid retroactively back to January of the year after you earned the money. So a bump found in October can already owe you 9 or 10 months of back pay. If a former employer misreported your wages, if you were self-employed and a form got flagged, or the system logged a processing error, the recheck can silently skip you entirely. SSA's own policy manual, section RS 00605.401, calls this recomputation something the agency performs automatically, but automatic still runs through the same system the Inspector General just described, making six-figure errors on hundreds of thousands of accounts. If you've stayed with me this far, you're already ahead of most people watching a video like this. Most viewers click away right when the numbers turn technical. You didn't. The next section is the one that actually moves money, the recalculation almost nobody has heard of, one the government's own researchers admit isn't understood. Arthur's 48 missed months came from the second recalculation, and this one has a name almost nobody recognizes, the Retirement Earnings Test, or RET. RET, in plain terms, means Social Security temporarily takes back part of your check for working too much too soon, then owes it back later. In 2026, under full retirement age all year, you can earn $24,480 before losing $1 for every $2 above it. In the year you reach full retirement age, the limit jumps to $65,160 at $1 for every $3. Cross those lines and your check shrinks, temporarily. Here's what almost nobody knows. A nonpartisan Congressional Research Service report, R41242, states plainly that the recalculation restoring those withheld months at full retirement age is not widely known or understood. Their words. At full retirement age, Social Security must adjust your reduction factor to credit every withheld month permanently. The CRS report walks through the math directly. Withheld months get credited back at roughly the same rate they were taken away, so someone with 3 years of heavy withholding can see their reduction factor shrink by close to a fifth. Arthur's case was smaller. He had 11 withheld months across 3 years of part-time work. Those 11 months should have permanently added $58 the moment he turned 66 in 4 months. Nobody applied it. 48 months later, at $58 a month, that's $2,784 unpaid, and every future check stays $58 short until someone actually runs the number. Arthur made his first call 3 weeks ago. He didn't get an instant fix. He got something better, a supervisor callback scheduled, and a case number confirming his AERO and RET histories were finally both flagged for manual review. And subscribe right now so you catch the next quiet rule change before it costs you a check, because what's coming next works on survivors too, and their number usually runs bigger. As you watch this, hold one person in your mind, someone you know who claimed Social Security early and kept working even a little. By the time this video ends, you'll know exactly what to tell them to ask for. Patricia is 71, a retired school secretary from Wichita, Kansas, and her situation is the one almost nobody covers because everybody assumes survivor benefits work differently. They don't. Patricia's husband passed away 9 years ago after 31 years of marriage. She claimed her survivor benefit at 60, the earliest age allowed, at $1,640 a month, reduced for claiming that early. Money was tight that first year, so she kept substitute teaching 2 days a week for 4 more years to fill the gap, earning just enough over the annual limit to have 16 months of her survivor check partially withheld along the way. The same rule that caught Arthur caught Patricia. SSA's own program materials confirm the earnings test reduction factor is automatically adjusted for widows and widowers at both age 62 and at full retirement age. The identical mechanism running on a survivor's record instead of a worker's. Patricia reached her survivor full retirement age just over 3 years ago. Those 16 withheld months should have permanently raised her check by $91 the day she got there. Larger than Arthur's, since survivor benefits run on her late husband's full record. Instead, she's been paid the old, unadjusted amount for 39 straight months. $3,549 she was never paid, on top of the $91 a month she's still missing right now. The single largest number in this video, and completely recoverable with the same call. Nobody at Social Security called Patricia. Nobody flagged her file. The same silent gap that caught Arthur caught her, on a different benefit type entirely. Because the mechanism the CRS calls poorly understood doesn't care whether the check says retirement or survivor on it. The fix thankfully doesn't care either. It's the same 2 questions either way. Write this down, because the exact wording of this call is what separates a real answer from a shrug. Call Social Security at 1-800-772-1213. When someone answers, say this exactly. I want to request a review of my earnings recomputation history, and I want to confirm whether my reduction factor was ever adjusted for months withheld under the retirement earnings test. That sentence works because of what it does behind the scenes, not because of how it sounds. 2 specific system terms, recomputation and retirement earnings test. Route your call into 2 specific case history screens most representatives don't open unless you name them. A vague question like, "Can you check my benefits?" pulls up your current balance and stops there, because that's all the vague version of the request asks for. The exact wording is the difference between a 30-second glance and an actual case review. If the representative says your account looks fine, that isn't an answer to what you asked. Say this instead. I'm not asking whether my account looks fine today. I'm asking whether Arrow has run on my record since I filed, and whether the RET adjustment was applied at my full retirement age. Please check both specifically. If they still can't confirm it or issue a written decision you disagree with, say this. I want to file a formal request for reconsideration, Form SSA 561, on the recomputation of my benefit amount. That form starts a clock. You generally have 60 days from a written decision to file it, so once an answer is in hand, don't sit on it. One honest note before we finish. Not every recomputation raises your check. If your highest 35 years were already strong, one modest extra year may replace nothing, and plenty of beneficiaries never had a single month withheld under the earnings test at all, especially if they claimed exactly at full retirement age and never worked again. This isn't guaranteed money for everyone watching, and nobody should expect a specific dollar figure before Social Security actually pulls their file. It's a records check that costs 1 phone call to rule in or rule out. And if a representative reviews both histories and confirms everything already posted correctly, that's a legitimate answer too. The people missing this money didn't make a mistake. They filed exactly what the representative in front of them processed, answered every question honestly, and went home assuming a system this large would flag its own errors later on its own. It won't. Nobody at Social Security is paid to go looking for a check that's sitting a little too low. There's no department for it, no line item, no employee whose job performance depends on finding money the agency already owes someone. It corrects itself only when a person on the other end of the phone asks it to, specifically, by name, in the right words. And now, you're one of the people who knows what those words are. Log into your My Social Security account and check whether your current benefit reflects your most recent working years. Call 1-800-772-1213 and ask specifically about your Arrow history and your RET adjustment. If you were widowed and worked at all after claiming survivor benefits, ask the identical 2 questions on that record. Keep the case number they give you and write down the date you called. Send this to one person you know who claimed Social Security before full retirement age and kept working, even briefly, afterward. That one share might put $2,784 or more back in their account, money 2 separate government recalculations already owed them that nobody at Social Security was ever assigned to mention. That is what this channel is here to do. Subscribe so this research keeps reaching you before the next quiet rule change costs you a check you didn't know to ask about. There are other gaps in this system that cost seniors real money every single month. The next video is on screen right now. Watch it before you close this tab. If this gave you information you didn't have 5 minutes ago, share it so someone else gets it before their next payment cycle runs on the wrong number. Comment the word requested below. I read everyone.